peoples, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your early dosage of sweet science in the morning. Um, yo, let's get it. Let's talk about it. Great weekend of boxing, a lot of good fights, explosive knockouts. It was interesting. Interesting the way that it all played out. We ought to start off with Mr. Christian Mbilli. Whoa. Whoa. What an explosive performance. Um, just a devastating knockout. He's a fighter who has power, skills, movement. He can fight. He can fight. Bound for a world. He has some kind of title right now, but he's bound for a world title. I believe it. I believe in him. Not just because, and I mentioned this before, he has that amateur pedigree. He represented the Olympic team for France. So, you know that this guy is someone who has a certain skill set at a high level. Christian and Billy can fight. I believe in him. Like I said, man, he put the super middleweight division on notice. So let's see what's next for him. Let's see how soon he gets a title shot. The 168 division is tough. Right now, Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed champion on it. And Terrence Crawford is going to be the next undisputed champion in the division. So I think in a way that's going to make it easy for Mbilli to grab a title. And I'm going to tell you why. Why do I foresee Mbilli becoming a champion soon? Well, Terrence Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez for all the belts. He's going to become the undisputed champion in the super middleweight division, which means I foresee that he's going to vacate those titles and go back down maybe to 154. If he doesn't retire, Crawford can choose to retire. As far as money goes, Crawford's been very smart, made investments and has money. So he could retire if he wanted to after this fight. But if he fights again, I can't see Terrence Crawford staying at 168. I don't see it. I see him moving back down, which means that he would vacate all of the titles. All of the titles in the 168 division will become vacant after Crawford, gets that undisputed crown. That's how I see it. So Mbilli is going to end up having to fight someone else for a vacant strap. That's why I feel like he's going to become a world champion sooner rather than later. I see it playing out like that. My peoples, welcome to Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all already know what it is. You're getting your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We had a great weekend of boxing, and Billy showed out. Devastating power. Showed. Not just that, I've been telling people, I've been trying to convince y'all, whoever doesn't believe it. And Billy, yes, he got power, he knocks people out, but he's a skillful fighter. I don't know if you know that he's an Olympian, and if you watch him, you can see his technical abilities, the way he sets up his opponents, the way he's able to work his way in. He can fight, and he's the type of fighter who applies pressure early. It doesn't take long for him to get going, which means I think Mbilli's going to be a big star because he has that style. Not just the power to knock you out, but he's exciting to watch. Explosive. Let them hands fly. Boom, boom, boom combinations. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for Mbilli. Like I said, man, this guy can fight, and I believe that he's going to become a world champion. Now, Floyd Schofield and Tevin Farmer, my peoples, we gotta talk about it. We got to talk about it. In this chat, more than 10 different people told me, yo, bet the house on Tevin Farmer. Bet the house. He's gonna pull off the upset. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, he's gonna pull off the upset. And I was like, nah, listen. Floyd Schofield is going to beat him because he's too young, too strong, explosive, and Tevin is not gonna be able to hang with him. Tevin Farmer's a very good fighter, but I felt like at his age, he's been through a lot, taken a lot of losses, and at this point in his career, I didn't feel like he could hang with a young gun like Floyd. But to be honest with y'all, after so many of you guys told me, nah, yo, Tevin is gonna pull off the upset. Somebody even told me, yo, Jay, bet the house. You can bet the house. He gonna pull off the upset. I was like, oh, whoa, it's like that? Damn. Seeing everybody so confident about it kind of shook up my confidence. Like, damn, is Floyd gonna get beat by Tev? But y'all see how it played out, man. Floyd Schofield showed out. Showed out. Angry Mexican, the GOAT. Good morning, Jay Smith. Bam. My G, what's the deal? You already know it, man. We talking boxing. Started off with Mbilli, by the way. Told ya, Mbilli is explosive. Not just that he got power, but he can fight. Got, footwork, punch placement, combination punching, counter punching. And Billy's going to be a problem. He's going to become a world champion. I already told you. And the reason why I see Billy becoming a world champion even faster, because check this out. He's a super middleweight. All the belts are held by Canelo in that division. And now Crawford is going to take those belts from Canelo. So Terrence Crawford is going to be the undisputed super middleweight champion. And guess what? He's going to vacate those belts. He's not going to stay in that division. So Crawford, I believe he's either going to retire or vacate the titles and go back down to 154. Which means Billy is going to be able to fight for a vacant title. But Billy a special fighter, my people. Golly, he got power. Like, when you see him land those punches, like, he's the type of fighter who he's throwing his punches with bad intentions. You know that sometimes fighters are just trying to score points. Pa, 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 pa. Nah. And Billy's trying to hurt you with every shot. Real talk. Angry Mexican. And Billy versus Iglesias. Be lit. Whew. Damn, man, that would be straight up fireworks. Champ, watch how Floyd Schofield stops Shakur. Man, listen. Now, Floyd Schofield, we got to give him his credit. I was saying that yesterday. The same way that people was joking on him and doing memes and all that stuff when he pulled out of that fight with Shakur, we got to give him his credit. Because Tevin Farmer, that's a good win. That's a good quality win for him. And the way, it's not just that it's a good win because Tevin, he can fight. Tevin Farmer can fight. Let's not get it twisted now. And the way that, Floyd Schofield just destroyed them in the first round, that's it. We got to give him his flowers. The same way that we joked and said whatever before when he had the situation pulling out the fight with Shakur, now we got to say, let's give the young man his flowers. Ozzy, I think Tevin was just careless. Man, he don't believe that Floyd Schofield can beat Shakur. He don't believe that. I think Tevin was just careless. I mean, he got caught slipping. But maybe he underestimated what Floyd was going to be able to do. I don't know. Chris Fontaine, that shit had me angry. Ozzy, but Schofield definitely good. Chris Fontaine, Tevin was super careless, not focused, but Schofield started soon as hell. Soon as the bell rang, yeah, bro. Yo, Floyd Schofield from the beginning was just letting them fly with bad intentions. It look to be honest, it looked like he had that mindset, like yo, I'ma stop you early. I'm gonna get rid of you, and that's what he did. I tell you what, man, the fight to make, the real fight to make, right there, for Floyd Schofield, is Abdullah Mason. Holla at your boy. What y'all think about that? Floyd Schofield, Abdullah Mason. Make that happen. That's the fight to make. Yeah, but I don't think Floyd and his pops, I don't think they want to make that fight. Chris Fonte, he was on him like white on rice. That's a fact. On him. Ozzy, the one positive thing I saw from Schofield is that when he hurt someone, he didn't give him a chance to recover. A good trait as a young fighter to have. And I was saying that yesterday. You know, Floyd Schofield got that killer instinct. If he hurt you, he's gonna try to get you out of there. And we saw it. We saw it once again. Listen, once Floyd Schofield lands a big shot, if he staggered you in any way, it'll be hard to survive that moment. Unless it's like right before the round is over. You know, a few seconds to go, you got up, but the round ends. Bell saved you. But if you're hurt and sharing the ring with Floyd Schofield, you're about to get packed out. Chris Fontaine, I'm going with Mason on that one. You know, honestly, I think I'm going with Abdullah Mason in that fight too. No, I don't. I don't think. I know. I'm going with Abdullah Mason on that fight. It'll be a good one, competitive. Abdullah handles business. Punisher. I didn't understand why people's. I didn't understand why people underestimating Floyd, like he a bum or something. I'm glad I stopped listening to the people boxing opinions long time ago for shit like this. Look, you know how boxing goes. As soon as a fighter is involved in any situation, they're a hype job, they're a bomb, all that stuff comes out. You know, that's the social media boxing fan base. But I can tell you, Floyd Schofield has always been looked at as a top level talent by people who know boxing, by people who really just appreciate what's going on. But there's always a narrative. If you think about it, how often do we see that people like this fighter, so they hate on that fighter? And it's like, you don't have to hate that guy because you like this guy, but that's the way it plays out. John Parham, Cat has to make a statement after that Shakur situation, and he did. I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, his stock, it seemed like it was down, and boom, an explosive performance. Now we talking about him. Ozzy, not many people have that killer instinct. You're right. It's true. It's true. Every fighter doesn't have that killer instinct. Floyd Schofield has it. If he hurt you, he's trying to get you out of there. That's it. Right away. Although he can be a little bit irresponsible with his defense. Like, if he hurt you, he kind of forget that there could be punches coming back. So that could be a problem sometimes. Ozzy, Crawford has that killer instinct. Facts. If Bud hurt you, you're not going to survive. The same like I said before. If Crawford, lands a big shot and you staggered, unless there's like a few seconds to go in the round and okay, the round is about to be over, you survive. But if he put you on shaky legs, you going out. That's it. You done. You cooked. Jamie Gibling. Crawford wins easily. Wins over who? Over Canelo? I don't think it'll be easily. Honestly, I don't say easily. I don't think. I do believe at times he might actually make it look easy. I do believe that. But I don't think the entire fight is going to be easy. I think there's going to be Canelo's going to have his moments. He's going to land some big shots too. And that's going to be surprising because, everyone is saying, oh, uh, he's not going to be able to handle the power. He's not going to be able to handle the pressure. A lot of people saying that, right? Imagine when Crawford lands a big right hand to Crawford's face or to Crawford's head, boom, and Crawford stays standing in front of him or counter punches him with something big too, boom. I think people gonna start being scared for Canelo when that happens, cause it's like y'all expectations. It's like Canelo's gonna hit Crawford and Crawford is gonna fly, boom, and land across the ring. Like you guys got expectations, like Crawford is just gonna get pummeled out there. What's gonna happen when Canelo actually lands a good shot, boom, and Bud takes it, boom, and counter punches him with another good one. Yo, when that happens, that's what I'm saying. You see Jamie Gibling, how you saying good night? What's gonna happen when Canelo lands and it's not good night? Still standing in front of him and giving him something back hard too. Are you gonna start being scared for Canelo when that good night doesn't happen like you thought it would? Cause I would be scared, like, oh shit. Once you realize that he will take the punches that are gonna land on him, are you gonna be scared for Canelo? Cause that's the thing. You're expecting a knockout. When you see that the knockout is not gonna happen, then what? Then what? Well, you saw what happened when the knockout didn't come against Dimitri Bivol. You saw what happened when the knockout didn't come against Floyd Mayweather. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking over here. The brain. Speaking of shaky legs, I sparred a 20-year-old 6'1", 220 kid this weekend, and I'm 43, 5'10". Whoa. Salute, my brother. Salute. 20 years old. You fighting a young gun right there. That's a young lion. Salute, my brother. Jamie Gibling. Crawford will win easy. Nah. That's very exaggerated, man. Don't listen. Never say that a world champion who is amongst the most accomplished in the game is gonna get beat easily. Never. That's a horrible guess, because it almost never happens that way. When you talk about, fighters who've been champions in multiple divisions, been unified, been undisputed, champions like that, brother, they never get beat easily by anybody. Like, that's a horrible prediction that you're making. Ozzy, I remember Canelo's corner telling them versus Golovkin, stop trying to punch with this guy. You can't do that against this guy. And they were smart. The thing is, that first fight, Canelo was actually moving around using his footwork, and Golovkin was catching up to him. That's why a lot of us felt like Golovkin won that fight. But the second time around, Canelo took it to him and was the aggressor. And the third fight as well. Jamie Gibling, Crawford on another level. Canelo's on another level too. The brain. Bro, my lungs may be bruised. The coach said congratulations, but don't do that again. Oh, damn, so y'all was banging it out. Y'all was really banging it out like that? Should have took it easy. I mean, I think that you could do it again, but not like that. Now, if your lungs is bruised, that means that you went too hard. You guys was, y'all was out of order. Y'all was out of order, my brother. And what y'all thought about Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., my peoples? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I thought I was watching a cooking show. I didn't watch the whole fight. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted. I think it was after round number 7 or after round number 8. I'm not sure. I was like, nah, I'm done. Shit is a cooking show. Why? How did we just watch Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. barely throw a punch for the first 6, 7 rounds? And then he, towards the end, he started throwing these hard punches. I don't know, but it made me feel like, oh shit, so you was holding back this whole time? That's what the script was about. You know, you don't throw no punches. You allow him to work, do his thing, and at the end you try to do something, make it interesting and shit. I don't know. I don't know if I was watching a cooking show, but that was not a good look. That fight was weird. Ozzy, I just have a feeling Crawford might make the fight look easy. I mean, look, because I don't want y'all to come back to me later and say that I was wrong about this. So I want to get it clear because I've made my prediction a bunch of times. Y'all know I got Crawford winning. But let's make it clear. I see the fight being real competitive in the beginning, them going back and forth, both of them winning rounds. But I see Crawford pulling away towards the end. And then I see a possibility that once we're approaching the championship rounds, he actually might make it look easy. But that's towards the end. So if that does happen, I don't want you guys to say, oh, look, you said it wasn't going to happen. Yes, I see Terrence Crawford making it look easy towards the end. But I also foresee a very competitive fight. Manolo Asoli, Muhammad Ali number one. Salute, my brother. That's a great pick. Picking Muhammad Ali as number one is a great pick. You can't go wrong. Jamie Gibley, Ozzy, he will make it look easy. The Brain, he called me an old man. I mean, you know, he's 20 years old. To him, we old man, bro. The Brain, Jake Paul fights are fixed. He's an entertainer, nothing more, nothing less. Now, he's a boxer. He's a boxer. Um, Whether or not this fight was fixed, I don't know. It's kind of weird the way that it played out, but he's a boxer. Jamie Giblin, Jay Opataya, best out there. Yo, Jay Opataya, he a beast. He's a beast. Can fight. Man, listen, I'm a fan. The first time I watched him, I was like, oh no. Oh no, Jay Opataya is for real. So you damn right about that, my brother. I wouldn't say he's the best out there. He's a young gun coming up, but he's headed in that direction. Banks OZ Crawford getting beat. Nah, bro, Crawford ain't getting beat. He not getting beat, bro. I understand you believe that, and I understand why you believe that, because Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. Crawford's gonna make history, bro. John Parham, Chavez definitely could got Jake up. Um, Chavez definitely could got Jacob through. Man, I don't know, man. That fight, the way that it played out, I just thought it was weird. When Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. started being more aggressive and throwing more punches after he damn near lost every round, I'm like, wait a minute. It looked like he was holding back. Man, listen. Like I said, I thought I was watching a cooking show. After round number 7 or round number 8, I don't remember, I went to sleep. I was like, nah. I already know Jake Paul's going to win this. This is going to be a decision. I'm not even going to waste my time. Jamie Giblin, Jay Opataya is a beast. That's a fact. That's a fact. John Parham, Jake sadly is getting better, but still. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Jake Paul, listen, when people say that Jake Paul is not a real boxer, it's like I have to tell them. I never let that comment slide without responding to it. Anytime somebody says, yo, Jake Paul is a fake boxer or he's not real, no. He might not be an elite level boxer. Okay, obviously I could agree with that. But is he a fake boxer? No. Without a doubt, he's a real boxer. How good he is, that's up for debate. We saw what happened when he faced the only real boxer that he has faced in his career, Tommy Fury, and he got beat. Took the only loss of his career and went back to fighting retired fighters, and you see it. You see it. Chris Fonson. Yo, Jay Smith, what's crazy is Google had Jake Paul won the fight an hour before it happened. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Jamie Gibley, I think Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury now. That's a possibility. because their first fight is not like, like Tommy Fury blew him out of the water or anything like that. It's a possibility. I'm not gonna say he beats him. I say it would be a competitive fight because you also have to think Tommy Fury could also make some adjustments, and you never know. Just like we're saying Jake Paul could beat him in a rematch, Tommy Fury might knock him out in the rematch. You never know. So we have to see it. I'd like to see it. John Parham, Chris, I seen someone else saying something similar. Dang. Chris Fonton, John, all facts. If you go to Google now and hit detail, it will tell you the time it was posted. John Parham thought they was trolling. That's crazy. That's crazy work. Like I said, man, it looked like we was witnessing a cooking show. You know, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And listen, if you guys were on the live, the day before, I specifically said with the lifestyle that Cesar Chavez Jr. has been living, I do not picture him having, a great training camp. I didn't see that. Even though his father said, "Yo, my son, he's having a great training camp. I've never seen him training so hard." I was like, "Listen, that's his father. He's supposed to say that. He's backing his son." I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it at all. Because I want to remind you guys, the last time Cesar Chavez Jr. was a world champion was in 2012. Bro, that's 13 years ago. 13 years ago, that man was a champion. So, and that's what they're going to sell to the people with this victory. Oh, that's what they're already selling. That's been the narrative. Oh, Jake Paul beat a world champion. He beat a world champion. They're even saying that he's going to be ranked because of this win. Now, explain this to me, somebody. How do you beat somebody who is not ranked because Cesar Chavez Jr. isn't ranked, and you get ranked because of it? I don't understand that. How does the ranking system work? Normally, you beat a ranked opponent and you get ranked. Yo, the last person that Cesar Chavez Jr. fought had a record of 1-0. That's what he fought. A guy with 1-0. So he's not ranked. He's been inactive. He hasn't been a champion for over 10 years, over a decade. And you're telling me that Jake Paul is going to get ranked for beating him? That's crazy work. They hyped this so much that they made sure to put the focus on Jake Paul beat a world champion. Not Jake Paul beat a guy who was a champion 13 years ago, who's been on drugs, who's been on alcohol, who's been getting arrested, who's been out of boxing, who's been inactive. That's what Jake Paul beat. Jake Paul beat a guy who need a paycheck. Vic G, Jake better stay away from Surdo. I don't think he's gonna fight him. I don't see that fight happening, to be honest. But let's see. They made him face off. I saw that they made him face off. So Jake Paul is not gonna earn a title shot, but it looks like he's gonna end up getting a title shot somehow, which is crazy. And he's been so good at cherry picking that I wouldn't be surprised, man, if they maybe find him a vacant title and match him up against a bum. Match him up against an average fighter for that belt so he could win it. I don't know. They're going to find a way, man. Just the way that they're doing it, they're going to find a way to cherry pick somebody for him. Jamie Giblin, Surdo scared of Opetaya. Nah, I don't think he's scared of him. I don't think Surdo's scared of anybody. But I would like to see that fight. And honestly, I see Opetaya winning it. Just because Surdo, and if you saw his last fight, he's looking real slow, man. He looks slow. And Opetaya's the opposite. Opetaya's fast, explosive. So if they fight, I got Opetaya beating Surdo. Chris Fontaine, yo, Jay, I have a question. Since we know Jake fights is rigged, what do you think was going to happen when that tank fight thing when that tank fight, with that tank fight, think Tank take a dive? So look, I gotta say, right? We don't know that all his fights are rigged because if they all were, he would not have lost to Tommy Fury. He would have won that fight, right? So if Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul and it was a close competitive fight, then obviously that was not rigged. Are some of the fights rigged? Maybe. That last fight looked like it could have been. But we don't really know. We don't really know. That's me being honest. Now, if he fight Tank Davis, nah, he's gonna take a loss. He's gonna take a loss. I don't know because he's so much bigger than Tank. Because he's so much bigger than Tank, I don't know if he's gonna be able to. If Tank is gonna be able to stop him because he's big. So it might go the distance, but Tank is gonna pummel him. If it goes the distance, it'll happen like that because Tank, is pummeling him, but he's able to weather the storm because of that size difference. I'm even thinking, are they gonna fight at an open weight or something? I mean, cause I can't even see them going at a catch weight. I mean, they could fight at a catch weight. They'll fight at a catch weight. I just don't know what that's gonna be. Jamie Gibling, Tank would kill him. Him and Tank are gonna fight. Believe him. Jake Paul and Tank Davis are gonna fight at the end of the year. I truly believe that. The moment Eddie Hearn said it, I said, okay, it's official to me. There hasn't been an announcement, but remember, Jake Paul did say that him and Tank had already been planning to fight each other the day, when he was gonna fight Lamont Roach. The expectations was that Tank Davis was gonna beat Lamont Roach and Jake Paul was gonna call him out. But that didn't happen. It turns out Lamont Roach was a cherry pick gone wrong. That's it. That cherry pick gone wrong, put all type of beats on Tank Davis, and luckily Tank got gifted that draw, so at least he's still undefeated. But they fumbled the bag because now they gotta wait for the rematch before Tank Davis and Jake Paul can fight. And now, by the way, my peoples, I don't know if you saw the live that I was with, Blue Blood Sports TV, but in case you didn't see it, Blue tells me that right now they don't even know. A lot of people are not sure if Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is actually gonna happen. People don't know if they. Think about this, my peoples. When it comes to Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, have you seen recently, like promotional videos, maybe from PBC or from whoever, from the network that's gonna play the fight, that's gonna broadcast the fight? Have you seen promotional stuff about Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch? Cause I remember that first they had a date for the fight. They posted it and everything. Then they said that the fight was postponed, but they didn't give us the new date when they're gonna fight. We don't know when they're supposed to fight. And after that, Steven Espinoza came out and said that unfortunately they were struggling to get a budget for that card. So right now, my peoples, can any of you tell me if you've seen anything on social media, any other people that do boxing, say that there's a date for this fight or confirm that there's a date? Jamie Gibling, Jake Paul, heavyweight champion of the world. You never know, man. You never know. Chris Fonson, yeah, Tank didn't sign the contract yet. I heard that part. That's the last thing I had heard about. I posted a video, as a matter of fact. Supposedly, Lamont Roach signed. Matter of fact, no. And I said it in the video. Lamont Roach was in an interview where he said, I signed my half. That's it. We waiting on him. I already signed. So I saw that. But still, we haven't seen, or at least I haven't seen anyone promoting that fight or talking about it. I'm talking about, as far as the promoters, the fighters, everybody involved. It's almost like that fight is in limbo right now. And why I'm concerned is because think about this, my people. Remember when Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford were supposed to rematch each other? And first, they gave us a date. Then that date was postponed. Then it was postponed again. And then eventually it was in limbo. It was going to happen, but we just didn't know when. And then eventually, when the time for the rematch clause expired, Errol Spence said that he wasn't going to do the rematch. That's it. So look right now. Time is passing. The clock is ticking. We had a date. Now we don't have a date. And the clock is ticking. So are we going to get the same type of situation over here where the clock is just going to expire and there won't be a rematch? I don't know. I don't know. But I think it's weird that we're not hearing anything about that fight. Maker. But didn't Miss Laura Reed from Tank's team say he's getting ready? I mean, they're getting ready, but I don't know what's going on with the business aspect of it. The fighters are getting ready. They're in the gym. But what is going on with the business? There has been no... Because remember, two fighters can say we want to fight each other. But if Steven Espinosa's saying we don't have a budget yet, or we struggling to get the budget, well, it's a business. So it's not just about the two fighters wanting to fight or being ready to fight. It's about the business working out. And right now, we haven't seen an official fight announcement. We haven't seen an official fight date. We haven't seen anything. We don't know who's gonna be in the card. They haven't announced the card. So, the time is passing and we're not seeing when is Tank Davis and Lamont Rose gonna fight. We're not seeing any promotional videos, anybody doing interviews to talk about that rematch. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Jamie Giblin, yo, Jay, you think Tyson Fury will make a comeback? Honestly, I thought that he was retired for good because, Tyson Fury is one of these fighters who he retired with a lot of money. So obviously he doesn't need to fight for paper. But the fact that he's been in the gym and I see him hitting the bags, I think I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. I wouldn't be surprised. I thought he was staying retired. I'm a little bit, I'm not going to tell you he's coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. Chris Fonte, especially if they fight in like 2 months. I'm telling you, if we haven't seen no promotional video, no fight announcement, no nothing official, how much time are they going to have to promote the fight when they announce it? Or they not fighting no time soon. Because they not going to announce the fight and tell us, yo, they're going to fight next week. Right? It doesn't go like that. They announce it and they give you time to promote it. So I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know. The J. Roos theory, Jay Smith. What's the deal, my brother? Bam. John Parron, I don't see Jake Paul landing much on Tank if it was real. But then again, does Tank have enough power to KO a heavyweight? So the way that I see it with Tank Davis and Jake Paul, obviously Tank Davis is multiple levels above Jake when it comes to skills. Because of the difference in size, I don't know if Tank would be able to knock him out. So how I see it playing out, Jake Paul weathers the storm, takes a beating for the duration, and that's it. Tank Davis wins the fight. Jake Paul has no chance against Tank Davis. No chance whatsoever. John Parham, appreciate the 10 likes. Hell yeah, my peoples. We got 9 likes, 10 likes, 20-something people. Y'all been ducking that like button like Tank Davis ducking Shakur. Also, Tank needs to pay Roach's bread. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I know that was a topic of conversation, but maybe they paid him already. I don't know. Raw Dog, was the Jake fight fixed? I was saying that earlier, my brother. Guess what? I didn't even finish watching the fight. I didn't even finish watching the fight, my G. I went to sleep after like the seventh or eighth. When I saw Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. started throwing punches, it's hard punches, combinations. I'm like, wait a minute. This man look like he been holding back. What's going on out here? What? Am I watching a cooking show up in here? Nah, man, I'm going to sleep. I'm watching a cooking show. And I went to sleep. I turned off. I posted a video about it. I turned the TV off and went to bed. I didn't even watch the ending. I already felt like I knew what the ending was gonna be. I already was like, nah, I know what the ending is gonna be. He's gonna win by unanimous decision. I'm out of here. The J. Roos theory. Tank seems unfocused. Not unfocused, based on some of the people who are around him who have spoken out about it. It looks like Tank is actually focused on his kids, on his family, on investments. So he's actually is focused, just not focused in boxing. Or maybe he is too. I don't know. I don't know, what's going on with that. But that's what I've heard, from people who are around him, that he's trying to be more of a family guy, that they see him, retiring from boxing soon, all that stuff. Chris Fontaine, right. People have to buy tickets. Where they go to finish in 2 months. I'm telling you. And there's been no fight announcement. So let's see. Viz, Jake Paul paid Chavez to lose. That's what it looked like, man. That's what it looked like. And then, Chavez Sr., he looked so upset, You could see him like, throw punches. Tírale, tírale. I said, wait. Chavez Sr. was upset, bro. He was like, what's going on? Why this dude not throwing punches? I guess they didn't tell him how it was supposed to play out. They didn't give him the script. He thought it was going to be a real fight. Raw Dog. I was at the fight, and I felt Chavez sold out. You see what I'm saying? It felt like he sold out. Like he was paid to not try to win the fight. And he didn't even, the thing is that he did a horrible job of selling it. Because he didn't look like he was putting even any effort or trying to win. Those first 6 rounds, he didn't even look like he was trying to put any type of effort. He would be standing right in front of Jake Paul and not throw a single punch. Just put up his high guard and wait for Jake Paul to do his thing. So, that's it. Played out the way that it did, man. And they're going to try to write history by saying Jake Paul be the world champion. What a joke. Jamie McFadden. Usyk is going to easily deal with that big fool Dubois again. Well, Jamie McFadden, I think you're pushing it. When you say easily, bro, why would you say that? When we watched Dubois stop Usyk and get robbed of a stoppage. Did you forget that body shot that had Usyk in the floor pretending to take a low blow? So come on now. Usyk is a great fighter. I've been saying we could easily say he's the best heavyweight of this era. But that doesn't mean that he can't be beat. And Dubois already knows, and he's confident. He knows he has the power to hurt him, to drop him, to get him out of there. To get him out of there. Viz, is Tank versus Roach 2 happening? It's supposed to be happening, but we don't know what's going to happen because think about it. I was asking the question earlier. When is the last time that you saw promotional videos about that fight or a promotional poster? A fight announcement. We haven't even seen an official fight announcement. We don't have an official fight date. That's why I was talking about the rematch between Crawford and Spence. If you remember, first they gave us a fight date. They said Crawford and Spence are going to do the rematch on this date. Then they changed that date. And then after they changed that date, they said the fight has been postponed and they didn't give us no date. And after it was no date, eventually time passed. And when the rematch clause was about to expire, Errol Spence just came out and said, nah, I'm not going to do the rematch. He pulled out. So look at this fight right now. First, they gave us a fight date for the rematch. Then they told us now that the fight is being postponed. Then Steven Espinoza told us that they struggling to get the budget. And right now, we don't have an official fight announcement. We don't have an official fight date for Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach 2. So is the fight happening, Viz? Honestly, I don't know. I asked Blue. Look, if you have when you have time, check out the episode that I did with Blue Blood Sports TV. I asked him that same question, and he told me straight up, Jay, I don't know if the fight is happening. I'm hearing that Tank Davis, he's focused on family. He's focused on his kids. He's doing some things. I don't know. So that right now we kind of like have to wait and see, because look, right now we're in June, going on July, but supposedly he's planning on fighting Jake Paul in November. So if he's gonna fight Jake Paul in November, his fight versus Lamont Roach has to take place soon. Chris Fontaine, it's kind of hard to believe they don't have the budget for Tank and Roach. Let's see, man. I think that what they're projecting is the pay-per-view numbers versus what they have to pay Tank. Because you got to remember, you have to pay Tank a lot of money when he fights. And Lamar Roach is going to get a pay raise after that performance. Now, people, for those of you who joined, welcome to Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We talking boxing, my peoples. Canelo is Floyd's son. Canelo versus Harlem Eubank this week. And no UFC. Week after female card plus Berlanga card and Max Holloway versus Poirier. With Lil Wayne in the walking. Ooh, Lil Weezy. I'm looking forward to that card. Because honestly, my people's Harlem Eubank, I don't know a lot about him. I've seen some highlights. But I never gauge how good someone is based on highlights, because you can look good in the highlights. Those are edited, obviously. So I'll be checking that fight out and see what goes down with Catero and Eubank. As far as the Berlanga card, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. There's a lot, that card is a real good one, and I'm going to tell you why. When it comes to Berlanga, I kind of lost faith in him. He had a few average performances, and when he fought Canelo Alvarez, it's like he was there to survive. He was there for a moral victory, to say, look, I made it the distance. He didn't look like he was trying to take it from Canelo at no point in time during that fight. So that was disappointing. I was like, nah, kind of like, this guy, he's not it. He's not built like that. Now he's going to fight Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz can fight. If Edgar Berlanga can get past Shiraz, then I'm back with him. I'm like, okay, you good. Let me see where you're going with it. But right now, I don't know. I think Edgar Berlanga's looking like one of those fighters who's a good fighter, who beats the average Joes, but when he goes to the top, he gets beat up. He might turn out to be one of them type of dudes. Canelo's Floyd's son. Cigar Talk yesterday, bunch of gems and information. Floyd Schofield Jr. and Sr. and Gary Antron Russell and Bill Haney. That's some great talking points. Listen, since you mentioned Floyd Schofield, in my opinion, the best fight for him is Abdullah Mason. Well, that's the best fight for the fans. I'm not gonna say that's the best fight for him, because I think he would lose that fight. He's gonna lose that fight. Is he confident enough, or does he want that fight? I don't think so. I don't think they want that smoke, because I've seen Floyd and his pops express interest in other people, and not really in Abdullah. Kalana, you think Berlanga versus Caleb Plant gonna happen? I'm not sure. It could happen, because I know they have a personal thing. They personally don't like each other. They've gone back and forth on social media. I think first we'll get Plant versus Charlo. Even though Plant lost, Charlo stated that he still wants to fight him. He still wants that action. So I don't see why that fight would not happen. John Parham, 10 likes. We got to do better. Damn, man. Out here doing me like I'm a C-level fighter. John Parham, Cigar Talk was lit yesterday. Woo! Must have been on fire. Fire. Now, something that we touched on yesterday, my peoples, and it's going to keep going down until September. 3 months away from Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. 3 months. And I would say for the last few weeks already, people have been talking about this fight every day. Crawford's going to win. Canelo's going to win. Crawford's going to knock him out. Canelo's going to knock him out. No, it's going the distance. I heard predictions in every direction, every way possible. People predicting, a knockout in Canelo or in Crawford's favor. People predicting it going the distance in the favor of Crawford or Canelo. I've even seen people predicting a draw. A draw. So when you're 3 months away from a fight and people are making predictions, debating, arguing, going back and forth, trash talking every day about it, 3 months away, I think this is telling us how big this fight is going to be. Right there we see it. John Parham, Plant and Charlo has to happen. I agree. With the personal interactions, I agree. Aside, hello, Bathar. Did you watch fight yesterday, 4th round KO? No, I did not see that. Chris Fontaine, facts. That fight has to happen. Kelana is definitely going the distance. A draw is possible too. That's how I see it. I see Bud versus Canelo going the distance. A draw is possible. And I say a draw is possible because I have Crawford winning in a close competitive fight. I just have him pulling away and winning. So a draw is possible. Bang Bang Boogie, ¿qué es lo que es Box Center? Yo, ¿qué es lo que es, manito mío? Canelo is Floyd's son. Love seeing it. Bang Bang Boogie says hi. What's the deal, my G? Aside, somebody will be champion. Okay, you got it, bro. Bang Bang Boogie. Who we got? Berlanga versus Shiraz. I don't know, man. That's a tough fight. Tough fight. Like I was just saying earlier, I've been a little bit disappointed with Edgar Berlanga simply because, he had a couple of performances where it seems like he struggled versus average fighters. And just the way that he fought versus Canelo, to me, that was a total letdown. Because it's like he didn't want to risk it. He didn't want to risk himself. He fought that fight to survive, to go the distance. And I didn't like that at all. When you're looking at a fighter who's supposed to be, a future world champion, one of the big guns coming up, and then you see how he fought Canelo, was kind of disappointing. Watching him fight to make it the distance, it made me feel like, yo, you're not that guy. You're not him. You're not him. If I would have preferred to watch him, trade leather with Canelo and get knocked out. And I would have, not just because it's more fun to watch, but because it shows that you got the heart to stand in there and try to get that win. He didn't risk it, man. He didn't risk it at all. So, Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, I think he could prove himself and say, nah, look, I am that guy. Damon, we smoking tough this morning. Out there getting bloodied. Kalasha, Tupuria look great. I don't know, man. I can't really comment on that because I don't follow MMA, my peoples. So I can't really tell you, how good he looked or really make a comment based on something I know. Armando Aguilar, easier said than done. It always is. Always is. Damon, Eli is a bad MF. I guess so. People been saying it, so it gotta be the truth. So again, man, September, we're talking about 3 months away. I can't believe that, you know, with so much time to go, people's already going back and forth about Canelo and Crawford the way that they are. Canelo is Floyd's son. Love seeing father and being in the boxers' lives. That's how it's supposed to be. I agree. I agree with you 100%. And you see that there's a lot of father-son duos. You see Floyd Schofield and his pops. You see Abdullah Mason got his father with him. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. So there's a lot of fighters who, Carmel Moulton, there's a lot of fighters who have had their fathers with them and experienced success. But again, my peoples, this weekend we had a great card, a lot of good boxing, and look, you can see that people with all these fights that are coming up, we keep circling back to Canelo versus Crawford. That's crazy. Damon, you think Canelo gonna get served? Yeah, he gonna get served. He gonna get beat. But it's like I've been saying, I don't see Crawford washing him and just making it look easy. I see a tough competitive fight. Canelo's gonna have his moments. He's gonna land his own big shots. Crawford is just ultimately gonna figure him out and start, just doing his thing on him, outboxing him. I'm gonna remind you guys, Terrence Crawford has a longer arm reach than Dimitri Bivol. And that reach, that's what Bivol gave Canelo problems with. If you keep him at the end of that jab, he's not able to use those body punches the way that he's used to. Victor J. Smith, Shakur better not duck Kid Austin and steal his passports. Come on, man. Everybody know it was Floyd who ducked Shakur. Playing sick. Stop it. We know you wasn't sick. Stop playing. Aside, if you come to Pakistan, I will take you to watch. Okay, I don't. That's good. I appreciate it. Post videos so we can see the videos. Victor J. Boy's going to feel that first punch on the arm and get on his bicycle. Canelo punches on the arm are painful. Okay, that's how you envision it playing out. You're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be disappointed when you understand that if Bivol took those punches to the arm and still whoop Canelo's ass, Crawford is gonna be able to do the same thing. But you're gonna have to witness it to understand it. Canelo Floyd's son, Victor J. When I'm in state of lust, my brother, I'm working on my self-control. What? God, what are we talking about here? Chill, my peoples. Hold on. It's early in the morning. This is not that type of channel. This ain't that type of vibes. um, look. The people that keep saying that somebody is gonna get washed, that somebody is gonna get smoked, they exaggerating. They don't know how it's really gonna play out. That's being an extremist. Okay? You're being an extremist. Assad, just put the name on the channel in the chat where the videos are. Put the name on the channel right there. You can write right here on this channel, you can see his videos. That's good enough. Lucy Rosales, Floyd is a fraud and one MMA fighter. Nah, Floyd's not a fraud. Definitely one of the greatest of all time. You have to understand, Lucy, that Floyd, he beat a lot of world champions. You could say, oh, there was this, there was that, but he beat a lot of world champions. He never lost. And it's none that, it's hard to go against that. It's hard to go against that. Aside, you got traps. You're asking that question. What is that? What is that? Because Assad been saying that a lot. Keep saying the same thing. I don't know. Damon, what do you think about Moses Itama? Yo, Moses Itama is the truth. He's for real. No, I think he's still in that development process, but he looks like he's gifted, and he's gonna be a world champion. Is the inevitable. He's gonna be a world champion. At least that's how I see it playing out. Dubois versus Usyk same day as another solid card. I mean, all of these big fights, I call them. So, when you have two cards on the same day, I just go back and forth and call the fights that I can. By the way, guys, this weekend as I be doing them, man, calling them fights. I hope you guys was able to tune in. If you wasn't able to tune in, the videos are up. I went live. Yo, great weekend of boxing. Great weekend of boxing. All done, my people. John Parham, I think Mason and Kidd is 50-50. Whoa. I mean, before a lot of us felt like Abdullah Mason was just going to smoke Floyd Schofield. But now it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We saw such an explosive Schofield that it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder how interesting is this fight really. Victor J. Canelo's Floyd's son is going out. John Parham. Moses is him. Yo, the kid can fight. The kid can fight. That is real talk. Victor J. Surdo punches on Wednesday and lands on Saturday. Yo, that's why I said earlier, if Surdo fights Jay Opataya, he's going to get packed in. Kalana, yeah, Canelo didn't have out cold KO in years. It's going to be the judges. I think it's likely going to be a trilogy. Rematch will definitely happen. Yeah, the rematch was already announced by His Excellency Turki Al-Shi. So we know that regardless of who wins, we're going to get a... The only way that I think we don't get a rematch between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is if somebody gets blown out of the water. If somebody gets blown out, completely destroyed, there won't be a rematch. But I don't foresee that happening. Like I said, Crawford is not going to destroy Canelo. He's going to beat him up, though. He's going to beat him up. Bang, bang, boogie. Can we set up a Macho Junior interview? Hell yeah, my brother, we can make that happen. Of course. Shout out to Macho Camacho Jr. That's my guy right there. Canelo is Floyd's son, Victor J. I won't be surprised if you Mexican number one and the other accounts, me and my cousin, been getting stalked since we stepped foot into boxing. Never know. You never know. Lucy Rosales, Mason is overrated. I don't know how you would say Mason is overrated. Tell me, Lucy Rosales, because you're saying a broad statement. He's overrated. But tell me, why do you think Abdullah Mason is overrated? What about him makes you feel that way? Because it sounds more like you just don't like Abdullah. So because of that, you feel like he's overrated. Because if you look at his mechanics, his work rate, his power, his ring IQ, his footwork, his speed, what is overrated about Abdullah Mason? Victor J. Abdullah and Moses best young fighters. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. So we just gonna act like Carmel Moten is not out there? We're gonna act like Zaquin Moses is not out there? Hold on. There's a few real top level talents out there. They not just It's not just Abdullah and Moses. Don't get it twisted now. Lucy Rosales, he's too vulnerable. Takes too much punishment. That's crazy talk, Lucy Rosales. Did you not see the last fight? Did you check out the last fight? He didn't take no punishment. So you're making an assessment based on the one fight that he took punishment, because he only took serious punishment in the previous fight where he got dropped twice. But Abdullah Mason mostly dominates his opponent. How are you going to say he's too vulnerable, and takes too much punishment when the kid is undefeated and headed for a title shot? Somebody who's too vulnerable has been knocked out 5 times and gets beat up all the time. So to say that an undefeated young fighter is too vulnerable, that's an exaggeration, Lucy. Come on now. That's a big exaggeration. Too vulnerable, undefeated? Nah. Can't agree with you. That you're pushing it. Canelo is Floyd's son. Lucy Rosales is probably a Hispanic racist. Oh, come on, bro. You don't got to get into race now. You ain't got to do all that, my brother. I'm not even going to continue reading that, man.